Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is still my 31 Days of Horror movie reviews. And I'm glad I was able to add this movie to my 31 Days of Horror because if you saw my review for the first Smile film, I was pleasantly surprised by that. I really enjoyed that movie just for not just the idea of it, but the execution of it and the acting of it. And so this sequel, I was a little apprehensive. I was a little nervous, especially because it's the same director. So it's like, well, maybe he'll fuck up. Right? Will lightning strike twice? It's a 2024 film that was written and directed, like I said, by Parker Finn. And man, before I get into the plot or the characters or the actors, I'm just going to say I really, really enjoyed this film. I thought it was great. I can't tell if I like it more than the first because I feel like they're both almost equally as good, but just for different reasons. Obviously, this movie has the same premise, but the way how they decide to tackle this time around, having the main character be a famous pop star and just everything that goes along with that career and that lifestyle, on top of the fucking demon stuff, it's wild. And I think the acting here is tremendous. First, let's talk about the actress. Naomi Scott plays Sky Riley, and I was blown away by her. I mean, I've been following Naomi Scott for the last few years, just as far as I guess her more blockbustery type movies like Aladdin or Power Rangers, even that Charlie's Angels reboot. That let's not talk about that. But her acting was never the problem in any of those movies, if there was a problem. Here, she truly gets to shine. She's the main character, so there's that, but also the range of psychological torture and emotions that she has to act out throughout this entire film. It's heavy. It's hard. You can't help but feel bad and be sympathetic for this character with everything that she's going through. And not just the supernatural stuff, just her life in general. Her sort of coming back from drug and alcohol addiction and sort of trying to repair her career. She has this tour that she's preparing for, and her mother is her manager, and there's a lot of pressure put on her to make sure she does not fuck this up. I mean, that alone, the fame and the constant attention and not being able to go outside without being recognized, or the fans and how overzealous and how creepy some of these fans can be. That portion of her life, that's why I'm glad they did switch it up. That's why I'm glad they did decide to focus on a pop star's career, because sure, we've all seen famous singers and famous, especially pop singers of recent years, and it's like you can imagine maybe what their life is like, but to have a horror movie touch on what that life is like, man. On top of that, this demon or this thing that is attached to her and that she has to deal with, that in and of itself. I talked about this being made by the same director, Parker Finn. I mean, I don't think he did a bad job or a poor job or any less of a great job directing the first movie. He did do a good job for that first film, but because this movie is so different and is in such a different environment, he was able to play with that. He was able to do a lot more visually, and I was impressed with that. I mean, I would have guessed that this was directed by a different person just based off of the two movies back to back alone. So that was great. The other actors and actresses, you have Rosemary DeWitt, who plays Sky Riley's mother. At first, she's almost presented as like that overbearing mom, that controlling mom that just wants her daughter to do the career in singing and doesn't care about her. But then when you start to learn more stuff about maybe their relationship or Sky's past, you go, oh, I kind of understand a little bit more where the mother is coming from. Lucas Gage plays Lewis. If you've seen the commercials and the trailers, you've probably seen this dude. He's the one with the creepy smile that Sky interacts with. And I've seen this actor in a few things, and he's been really good. And just the brief part that he's in this film, he makes an impact, and I thought his acting was tremendous as well. Dylan Gulula, I hope I said her name right. She plays Gemma, who is an old friend of Sky, and I found their relationship very interesting because they've had a falling out, which happened like before the movie, and Sky's sort of trying to repair their friendship as the movie is going on and while she's dealing with this. And I thought that actress was really good, but I liked how their friendship sort of oversaw everything else that was going on and some of the ways that that played into the story. Kyle Gallner, who was in the first movie, is here as well, and I thought his scenes, especially the way it was shot, it was almost like one take, and how all of that played out. He's a great actor, so it's always good to see him pop in. Ray Nicholson, who I believe is the son of Jack Nicholson. Did I get that right? Either way, he's in this movie, and there's one part in particular where he has to do the smile face, and my God, if Jack is his father, then yeah, it definitely passed on, that's for sure. And I talked about the aspect of like the pop singer, the fame, and the depression, and everything that goes into what the Sky character is going through. But I also liked the guilt that she felt from something in her past, the drug addiction stuff that I guess it's sort of in my head because of what just happened recently with that One Direction singer. And just it felt very grounded and down to earth, even though the overall plot of this is next level and is supernatural. But I really connected and vibed with the pop singer aspect of this story. I'm very glad they went in that direction. I'm also very impressed with the budget because you could tell it was bigger than the first movie, but I couldn't believe when I looked it up that it's only 28 million. It's only like less than 10 million more than that first film. So this guy, this director, clearly knows how to use his budget, how to make the movie look bigger than it even probably really was. My only complaint, if I had to complain, well, I guess I would not argue with anybody who thinks that this movie maybe is a little long, because there are some scenes in the middle that maybe felt repetitive or maybe felt like we're doing the same sort of jump scares that they have already done, but I was fine with that. My bigger issue is the ending, and I'm not going to get into it, of course. It's almost the same exact complaint that I had about the ending of the first movie. So I guess if you saw the first movie, maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about. Or when you see this movie, you'll get it. It's not like a huge gripe. It's not like it ruins the movie for me, because I think I attached to the really good stuff and the stuff that I enjoyed the most about this movie. I have a lot of great things to say about it. I'm going to give this a full price. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you have seen Smile 2. What do you think of it? Did you like it? Is it better than the first film? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later! Please won't you save my desire?